Welcome back. This is going to be my first NBA talk video, sports talk video. So, yeah, if you want to see more of these, I'll just have 2K running in the background with the trade that happened. So, Derrick Rose to the New York Knicks for Dennis Smith Jr. and the 2021 second-round pick was the trade that was dealt. So, I'll first talk about Derrick Rose as a player. So, Derrick Rose, some of you may not know, when he was drafted to the Chicago Bulls, he had high hopes, won Rookie of the Year, and then in 2011, won the MVP, youngest MVP to ever win it. And then in 2012, in the 2011 playoffs, 2011-2012, he tore his ACL, and then a bunch of injuries. And then he got traded to the Knicks for the first time, which is where I got the picture for the thumbnail. And then he spent 1 or 2 seasons there. Then he got traded to the Timberwolves, and then he got traded to the Pistons. And Derrick, he's obviously washed up. He's not his MVP form. But I would say if he's just a good, 18, he's still good for 18 points per game. He could maybe drop 20 or 25 on a night. You never know. It's sad that his career, I think he might have been one of the greatest point guards ever if he hadn't gotten injured. But that's just my opinion. It is one of the greatest what-ifs in NBA history. And let's just talk about the injury real quick in the 2012 playoffs that really derailed his career. So it really set him back, and it's really controversial because there was a minute 23 left in the game and he was still in. It was a blowout game against the 76ers. So why was he still in the game? You never know. Those are some of the questions that when we look back on history. Not history, but NBA history, they won't be answered. It's impossible for them to be answered. And he could have won possibly more MVPs. Maybe the Bulls wouldn't have traded him. And yeah, he also, it's very controversial if he's a Hall of Famer or not. I think he needs a ring he might need a ring where he at least contributes a little. He at least averages 10 points. But it could be later in his career or not. Anyways. Yeah, and so I say he is a Hall of Famer. He has the All-Stars to back it up. He has the MVP. So yeah, that's all I have to say about Derrick Rose himself. Now we'll move on to the Knicks side of the trade. Actually, no, we'll start with the Pistons. So, personally, most Pistons fans love this trade. I think they should have got Elfrid Payton back. I don't understand. Oh, we'll get to that part. You got the second-round pick. I mean, everyone was expecting a Derrick Rose trade since last year, basically. Ever since he signed with them, it was free Derrick Rose, gave him to a contender, because everyone wants to get him a ring. He's a fan-favorite player. So, Pistons got him out of there, and we were expecting this trade. At first, I think the Clippers, they should have traded him to the Clippers. I feel like they could have gotten a much better deal for him. But Dennis Smith Jr. and a second-round pick, I have the stats with me right now. If Dennis Smith Jr., when he was first drafted to Dallas, before he was on the Knicks, he's part of the Kristaps Porzingis trade. When he was on Dallas, his first season, he was a 15-point per game scorer, then 14, then 13. And he was 14 again. 4 straight seasons, he was a good 14-point per game scorer, good average player. A decent player. He can be a solid role player, maybe even a starter on a good team. Obviously, he's not going to be your primary guy, or not even his third option on a championship team, but he could really contribute to a team. But when he went to the Knicks in that Porzingis trade, he really started to fall off, I feel like. That's when the downhill started. So, he's still a young player. I say he has a ton of potential to be if he's just a 15-point per game scorer for the Pistons. Keep in mind, Killian Hayes is, I believe, out for the season with the torn ACL, their 7th overall pick for the Pistons. And so now they have people starting. Sorry, I lost my words there. Well, anyways, if he could be a good player off the bench, maybe give him 16, 15 minutes a night. Let him put up 8 points per game on that. That'd be pretty solid. I think that would be an amazing trade for the Pistons. In that, I think the Pistons, this is a really good trade for them. I think they should have gotten maybe like I won't even say a first, maybe like a lottery protected first. But I feel like that might even be too much for a regressing guy who's way past his prime. And yeah, so that's gonna be the Pistons side of things. That's for Junior. One more. I think if Dennis Smith Jr., they could, like, the Pistons are obviously in rebuild mode. They're not going to make playoffs anytime soon. But Dennis Smith Jr., he could end up being, like, or what they could do is maybe start him. I mean, that's a very risky move. I don't know about that. But maybe start him. Then he gets extra time, like, to play. He gets extra development time. And there you go. Then he gets all the development time and playing with the starters and everything. He turns into maybe like even a 20-point per game scorer. If he turns into a 20-point per game scorer, he's gonna be in contention for most improved player. So I feel like that would be a very good deal. It is a good deal for the Pistons side of things. Now, let's start to get into the New York Knicks side of things. Now, the Knicks, they are exceeding expectations this year. People thought they would be in the lottery, maybe even top 5 in the lottery. But right now, they are, I believe, the 8th seed in the playoffs. Now, I am not confident about that. I'm actually going to double check that right now. So, I'm checking it right now. They're the 8th seed. And then Hornets are in front of them. And Raptors and Cavaliers. You have Julius Randle, who is in contention. I wouldn't say he's in, actually no, he's not in contention for most improved. But he's playing like an all-star. He could make, I think he's probably going to make the all-star team this year. Not a starter, but as a reserve. And yeah, Pistons are the worst team in the league. No, in the East at least. Here. Let me look at this. So yeah, you have Julius Randle. He's averaging, I think, like about 25 points per game. I'm actually gonna look up the New York Knicks stats right now. Probably should look that up before I started recording. But hang on, I'm looking this up right now on Basketball Reference. Amazing website. Check it out if you want. Here we go. Yeah, Julius Randle averaging 22 points, and he's averaging a double-double, 22 and 11. Round up to 23. That's definitely all-star numbers right there. That alone are all-star numbers. You have RJ Barrett, second-year player. He's started for this team. He's done a pretty good job. He's definitely stepped it up from last season. Last season was a stinker. He did not do good at all. I don't think he did anything. If he can develop a 3-point shot right now, he's shooting 28% from 3. That's like, if he can just do that, like, that'd be amazing for the Knicks. So, yeah, he's a young future, defensive-oriented guard. Him and Derrick Rose in the backcourt would be deadly. Mitchell Robinson, he's a solid center. He's not a scorer, only averaging 9 points per game, 9 rebounds, but 1.6 blocks, 1.1 steals. Those are good numbers. Elfrid Payton, 11 points. Yeah, but here's where it gets difficult. You still have Obi Toppin, who really hasn't had that spectacular of a rookie year. He hasn't started any games. He's only played 15 of them. But you have Emmanuel Quickley. He is in Rookie of the Year contention. I think he could be the Rookie of the Year. He's shooting 90% from the line. He's averaging 12 points, 2.7 assists. The assist numbers could go up, but that's also rookie numbers. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. 3-point percentage. He's averaging 36% on 4 attempts a night. That's really good. If you didn't know. He's played 41 games. Now, the thing is, he's a point guard, obviously, like Derrick Rose. So, I say they have Derrick Rose come off the bench, because I feel like if the Knicks start Derrick Rose, I feel like that's going to stunt Quickly's development. I feel like he isn't going to get that better over time if he's not starting. He needs the minutes to back it up almost. He needs the minutes to comprehend. Because if he doesn't have the minutes, I think it's going to stunt his growth a lot. Like, a lot. And I wonder what pick. Wait, what pick was Quickly? I'm actually looking that up right now. Which pick was Emmanuel Quickly? Now, he's popped off. He was a 25th pick, which is late. Now, he's popped off for the Knicks, especially in these last couple of games. If we look at the last couple games. So, to start off the season, he wasn't too good. 5 points, 9, 16, 0, 3, 4, 3. But recently, starting on the 13th against Brooklyn, he had 19. Then against Cleveland, 23. Boston, 17. Orlando, 11. Then he dropped off a little. For example, he had 31 against the Trailblazers. Against Damian Lillard. Some people think he's the best point guard in the league. I personally think it's Steph Curry. But against the best point guard in the league, he drops 31. And then literally, a couple nights ago, a week ago, 25 points. What is that? Those are amazing numbers, especially for a rookie. And if you start Derrick Rose ahead of him, he isn't going to develop. He isn't going to do anything. But I think the Derrick Rose trade is amazing. Although I don't know what they're going to do with Elfrid Payton. I say maybe send Elfrid Payton down to the G League, maybe? Elfrid Payton, maybe you should run him at the 2. See, Derrick Rose can run the shooting guard or the point guard. And then that defensive backcourt, and if he's playing with Barrett at the same time, that's a good defensive backcourt. And I mainly think they brought Rose in for them to get a scorer which they needed. I think they could still go after JJ Redick, who was on the trade block. And to get in some veteran leadership, mentor Quickly, tell him all there is to know about the NBA, tell him Derrick Rose's moves, how to stop things, because Derrick Rose is a veteran. He's 12-year veteran now, so he can mentor Quickly and show him everything. Show Quickly how he plays defense. Quickly could be an amazing defender by the time Rose leaves this team. And now with Rose, I think the Knicks have potential to be the 5 or 6 seed. That's all there is to it. If the Knicks are a 5 or 6 seed, I think they could even win a playoff series, maybe. Because if we look back at the NBA standings, so 5 or 6 seed, they're definitely going to win the playoff tournament. I think they're confidently going to make the playoffs. So, got 26 seconds left. Pacers, Hawks. I definitely think they could beat the Hawks for the 6th seed. Or maybe even the Pacers. I feel like they can beat the Hornets to get the 7th seed. They're only 1 game behind the Hornets. They're only 2 games behind the Hawks and the Pacers. So, yeah. So, only a couple seconds left. We're finishing up this 2K gameplay. 3, 2, 1, and that is the game over for the 2K. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more, let me know down in the comments, and peace out.